Let's do some more SQL today. This SQL question was asked in the interviews of Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy. In this question, they're asking, write a query to get the list of managers whose salary is less than twice the average salary of employees reporting to them. For these managers, output their ID, salary, and the average salary of employees reporting to them. In this question, we have two tables here, map employee hierarchy table and the dim employee table. As always, the first thing I do is I actually look at the tables. So let's do this. Select star from that and let's run it. And as you can see, we have two columns here, employee ID and manager employee ID. And by the way, you can see that information here as well on the left. We have two columns, and in this table is sort of like a relationship between employees and the managers. So for example, for the employee 850, the manager is 849. For employee 851, again the manager is 849. So you get the idea. For the second table, this is a dimension table. So let's run that. Let's see what we have in that table. And this table contains information about the employee. So the employee name, the city they live in, their date of birth, and the salary and how much money they make, right? So this is the table that contains all that details of the employee. So again, like if you go back to the question here, they're asking us, give me a list of managers whose salary is less than twice the average salary of employees reporting to them, right? So they are sort of asking us to make connections between an employee and their manager. And which table actually gives us that connection is this table here, map employee hierarchy, right? So how I'm going to start this question is I actually am going to build on top of this first table, which is map employee hierarchy table, and I'm going to be adding information to it. So for example, I'm going to be adding let's say manager ID and the salary that they make. So that's going to be manager salaries, employee ID and the salary that they make, okay, and so on. So I'm going to be building on top of this table, okay. So the first thing that I want in my case is manager employee ID, and by the way, we have that here, as you can see. I'm just rearranging that first, and employee ID. So I'm just going to rearrange that. What else do I want? I want to see employee salary, okay. So I'm going to have employee salary here, and I'm going to have manager salary here. I don't have these columns, so what can I do? I can actually bring these columns in from this table here. So because in this table we have the information about the salary of the employee, right? And as you noticed earlier, some of the employees are also managers, right? So in a nutshell, whether you're a manager, whether you're an employee, you have the salary, you have that information here in this table. So what I'm going to do is, how can I connect our map employee hierarchy table with the dim employee table? Simple, right? Employee ID and employee ID. That's how I'm going to be connecting it. Manager employee ID and then employee ID. So I'll be connecting it twice. I'll be joining this table with the dim employee table twice. First for the employee and the second for the managers. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let me just arrange this here so it looks good. Employee salary, manager salary. Let's do an inner join on dim employee as employee, and I'm going to do one more inner join on dim employee as manager. So I'm using the same table but from different lengths every time. The first lens is from the employee perspective and the second one is from the manager perspective. So how do we do that? We're going to do a join on let's give it an alias. It's a pretty big name here, so I'm just going to take MEH, meh, and let's call this one employee and this is meh. That looks good. So on meh dot employee ID equals emp dot employee ID and inner join. Now for the manager part, on dot manager employee ID, because we have that given, so that's good. Manager employee ID equals employee ID. So I think that looks good. And now again, I need, these are just names. I need to make sure I use the proper fields, right? So let's call this, by the way, let's make this, this is coming from the first table, so dot employee ID, and this is going to be from employee table, employee dot salary as employee salary, and this is going to be from manager table as manager salary. And let's see what we have. Interesting, right now we don't have anything in here. Why is that? Because let's check again what's going on. We are doing inner join name employee as emp as man dot employee ID equals emp dot employee ID inner join man. Oh, okay, this needs to be man here, right? And there you have it. You can see we slowly built on top of this table with just 2 columns, and now I have some more information in that table. I have manager employee ID, I have the corresponding employees that work for that manager, right? And I have their salary, I have the employee salary. So this guy employee makes 30,000, this guy makes 40,000, okay? And I have the manager salary here as well, right? One thing that's I don't have is the average salary of employees, because that's what they're asking the question, right? Give me a list of managers whose salary is less than twice the average salary of employees. So what can I do here? I don't want to do a group by, because group by is actually going to reduce this data into aggregated rows, right? What I want to do here is actually want to add a new column called, let's say, average employee salary by manager. So I'm going to add that column, and for every single row here, I want to see the average of the employee salary for that manager. So this column here will give me the average of employee salary for that specific manager. So for example, let's take one example here of manager 849. Manager 849 has 2 employees working for him, 850 and 851. If I ask you what's the average of these 2 employees salary is 30,000 or 40,000, it's going to be 35,000. So I want to make a column here where for 849 I'll have 35,000 here, I'll have 35,000 here. Again, for the other manager here, 850, it has 2 employees working for him, 852 and 853. Their salary is 22,000 and 18,000. If you do an average of these 2 salaries, you will get 20,000. So I want to see 20,000 here, I want to see 20,000 here, and so on. You get the idea, right? So how do you do that in SQL? You cannot use group by, because group by is going to reduce the rows, right? So what I'm going to be using here is something called window function, and specifically the average window function, because I'm actually looking for average here. So average of what? I'm looking for employee salary. So average of employee salary over, whenever you use window function, you gotta use the over what? I want to partition this by the managers, right? Partition by manager employee ID. So this should work, right? So I'm looking for average of employee salary, partitioning it by the manager. So for this guy, for 850, for 851, right? And let's see what we get. And nice, for manager 849, I have 2 employees and their average is 35,000, 35,000, 850, 20,000 is just because 851 has 3 people working, actually 4 people working. You cannot see, but there's a bit of a cutoff there. 851 has 4, so it's 18,000. 18,000. Okay, so you get the idea here. So what I'm going to do here is I have only one thing left now, is to check for this condition. Give me the list of managers whose salary is less than twice the average salary of employees. So I have everything here. I have average salary of the employees. I have manager salary, which is this column, and now I just need to do this simple calculation. Before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this query into a CDE, because then it makes my life easier, because I can retain these column names, and I'm just going to wrap that in the CDE, and I'm going to do select star from CTE1, where they're asking me, give me the list of managers whose salary is less than twice. So manager salary, which is this column, is less than twice the average. You know what? I'm going to give this a proper name here as average employee salary by manager. So it's a descriptive name. It makes my life easier, and I mean, I can show you how this is going to look. It's going to look pretty good with that new name now, right? Average employee salary by manager. It's a long name, but you get the idea. So again, coming back to this condition here, where manager salary is less than twice or 2 times of that, right? And let's run this, and I think there you have it. I think that's what they're asking for, right? For these managers, output their ID. Okay, let's output their ID. Their ID, meaning manager's ID. Their salary, manager's salary. And they're also asking average salary of the employees reporting to them. So this big thing. Let's see. 850, 850, 854. Okay, I have duplicates here. Let's make a distinct. Let's actually first submit this and see if they allow duplicates. Actually, they don't. Solution is incorrect. Official solution. My solution has 3 records, which you can see because it's cut off because of my screen recording. Let's make the distinct. Okay, distinct is going to make sure that we have distinct rows. Run, and I only have 2 rows, so that's awesome. Let's run, and it's solved. Everything green, that means it's good.